All right. Somebody give me a mic check and let me know that you can hear me. Excuse me. Somebody give me a mic check. Let me know if you can hear me. And let me know, can you hear the ocean and the motion? You know, we do sound check before we get into the show. And so somebody let me know they can hear me or whatnot. Nikki C, what's up? She said, peace, Chris in chat. How you doing? Good evening, good evening. Okay, Lisa said she can hear me. All right, appreciate it. Roller Mal came in. Aisha came in. Stephanie M came in. I'm pretty much sure y'all be in the building. Oh, there go Aisha right there. What's going on, Memphis? My Memphis neighbor, another Memphis neighbor. Good day, Tina Powers in the building. She said, good evening, Chris, and everyone. Good evening to you too, dear. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hopefully everybody had a good day today. I had a fair day today. I guess I can say I can't complain. But hopefully everybody had a good day today. Look at my man Darren McNeil. What's going on, bro? I see you in the live stream. What's up with you, my guy? Glad you can make it. So I'm gonna give y'all we're gonna listen to the ocean for one quick minute. You know what I'm saying? See can we get some more people come in. I know my notifications sometimes they go out. A lot of times they don't go out, so we're gonna give it a quick minute. Get some people in, but let your mind be free right now. Relax, listen to the ocean, relax your mind, loosen the muscles up, you know. TT, what's going on? How you doing, dear? Just let this ocean kind of relax us a little bit before we get into the heavy stuff. Amen. Kind of relax us a little bit, and we'll get right into the show. And if you haven't, please hit that thumbs up. And it seems like the more you hit it, the more people start coming in. I guess YouTube start sharing it out then, or it start putting it up in people's feeds. I don't know how the shit works anymore. You know, like I said, ever since they be doing all these damn updates, you know, it's like it's harder and harder to get the notification to go out versus the old way they used to do it. Just go live and it instantly goes out to everybody. But now, you know, it's a struggle for everybody to get the notification, you know, so I don't know. Maybe one day YouTube will get all this straightened out, man. We ain't got to worry about that no more. Maybe YouTube get it straightened out one day. Alright. So I think our minute is up. You know, everybody relax. Hopefully y'all ready. So let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chris Thorne Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we got another sad story, which I think they had did a couple of updates today about it. But I think that story actually happened back in March, if I'm not mistaken. We have a young lady here, 26 years old, pretty young lady, by the name of Breonna Taylor. And what happened was Breonna Taylor lost her life due to a raid, which people is calling it a botched raid by the I guess the Kentucky Police Department. And we see the officer's name. One of them name is Sergeant Jonathan, Detective Miles, and Detective Brett. And it said that they shot and killed 26-year-old unarmed black woman, Breonna Taylor. She was an EMT. And, you know, I just hate to hear people lose their life, especially when they got stuff going on. I just hate to hear people that lose their life like that, you know, especially if you was innocent and you didn't do anything. You know, it's just crazy how the young generation is being dropped like this so fast. Man, I wish I can be 26 again, but this young lady would never see another age again because she is gone. She's gone. And this is sad. Very sad. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chris Thorne Show. I'm your host, Chris Thorne. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you watch my content. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't, please hit that thumbs up. And if you got people who want to come listen to the story, please do not hesitate to share the story out and bring more people in who wants to hear this story, okay? But I'm going to skip the long dialogue, people, and we're going to get right into the show because I got a lot of stuff that I have found out on this. And my man Darren, who's in the chat room, he sent me a lot of stuff too, Darren. So I'm going to tell you this, Darren. I get a lot of emails, bro, so don't think I'm ignoring you when I get your emails. I get them, you know, and a lot of stuff that you send me, if it's of importance, I put a star by it. So that's how I keep up with a lot of stuff. And that's with a lot of you, you know, unless you just email me back to back, then it gets annoying, then I pretty much start ignoring you then, you know. I mean, if you send me a couple of articles, I want to say this to anybody. If you send me a couple of articles about the same story, okay, I will do the rest myself. There's no need of you emailing me back to back, you know. I mean, seriously, because trust me, because regardless of what you send me, I'm still going to go back and double research on what you send me. So one or two articles, that's fine. But when you going back to back like that, it becomes annoying, okay? I appreciate the fact that you like what I do or you want to hear my take on stories. But please don't do that. Email me back to back. Please don't do that, okay? All right? No harm to anybody, but please don't email me back to back like that. All right. But anyway, hey Sonya, what's going on? How you doing? But anyway, guys, we're gonna get right into it. This is the story of Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor, rest in peace, young lady. Let's get right into it.
Loved ones of Breonna Taylor grieving and outraged. The 26-year-old Louisville first responder shot 8 times and killed by police.
8 damn times. And you know, and as I heard more about the story, they said the girl was in house sleep. That's a damn shame that you sleep and you waking up. Well, if she even woke up, you sleep and 8 bullets flying at you, and you got hit 8 times. Man, that is crazy.
Know that she died like that in the comfort of her own home.
On March 13th, before 1 a.m., Louisville police say 3 officers executed a search warrant at Taylor's apartment, an address police believed was used by a suspected drug dealer to traffic narcotics. Police reports say officers Jonathan Mattingly, Brett Hankinson, and Miles Cosgrove, wearing plain clothes and no body cameras, announced themselves and forced entry.
The officers forced entry into the exterior door and were immediately met by gunfire.
But in a
Darren, that's what I wanted right there. When I say the police conference, that right there, that's what I'm looking for. So anybody who can find this for me, y'all know when I do these stories, I want to play the police conference and see what they got to say. So when I say police conference, this is what I'm talking about right here.
By gunfire.
But in a new wrongful death lawsuit against the officers, Taylor's family says they never announced themselves. The suit says Taylor and her boyfriend Kenneth Walker, startled from sleep, believed it was a break-in and called 911 for help. Walker, a licensed gun owner, then shot and wounded one of the officers. Officers returned fire, the suit says, blindly into the residence. Taylor's family attorneys say no drugs were found in the home.
And the tragedy of it is, it wasn't coronavirus that killed Breonna Taylor. It was police officers who were being reckless and irresponsible.
Walker is now facing charges for attempted murder of a police officer. His attorney says he's completely innocent. The officers now on administrative reassignment, and while the case is under investigation, police aren't commenting. Meanwhile, Taylor's mother still absorbing her loss.
That's what I want people to know. She didn't deserve this.
Katie Beck, NBC News.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.
Well, first of all, let me say this. What else, man? I see you in the building. What I always say is by me not having a biological child, I would never know what it feels like to actually lose a child. So I can imagine what the mom is feeling like Plus, for what I'm gathering so far, her daughter wasn't one of these women that's out in the street, you know, being hoochified, or however you want to call it. Not necessarily saying that all women that's hood is bad. Not necessarily saying all women who's hoochified is bad. But I say it in the sense as setting an example. And this young lady, to me, doing EMT, which I heard EMT is a nice job for young ladies to have, you know. And at the age that she is in the medical field, 26 years old, you know, and has so much more to accomplish at that young age. Because I'm pretty much sure she went to school and stuff like that. And to have all this taken away from her just like that, you know, because of incorrect information. Because I have a question now. How did they get the information to say to go to that apartment or that house? And how did they get the notion that somebody was running drugs at that house? You know, let me not say we, but how did they get miscued information like that to go to the wrong house? And then, you know, it turned into a blaze of gunfire like that. Now, somebody asked one day, they said, if a police shoot at you for no reason and you shoot back, is that considered self-defense? I said, you know what? I never thought about that. I don't know how they would label that. If a police shooting at you for no reason or whatnot, and you shoot back at the police, is that considered self-defense? And which brings us to this story now, because how they putting it out there now, they thought somebody was breaking in, and this man put out the gun and started shooting, and they started shooting back at him. But if I'm not mistaken, though, I think he survived. We're going to get into about him a little later, you know, but that is a good question right there. The police is shooting at you for no reason, and you shoot back at them. Is that considered self-defense, or they still look at that as assault? Blazing Sky, what's going on? What up, Dom? How you doing, dear? Dare say they people just like us, they just don't hold the law. Okay, you know, so that's something that I may need to research. You know, if they shooting at you for no reason, or shooting at you and you're not shooting at them or whatnot, and you return gunfire, you know, is they consider self-defense? So that's something I need to look into. Again, very sad. I can imagine what the mom's going through. Her emotions probably, and adrenaline is running high on this. Man, I mean, what could I say? You know, well, I mean, Aubrey, and you know, not the Aubrey case, but what about the young lady? What is her name? I just seen her picture. The one I did the interview with, the guy who called the police, Tatiana. Her, I think she was a young lady. I think she was somewhere around the age or a little bit older. You know, so we got her now, we got Aubrey now, where everybody is on two sides of the coin with the Aubrey situation. And now we got this right here, you know. Whew. It's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy. All right, guys, let's get into some more news clips and let's see where all this is going.
Governor of Kentucky wants federal and state investigators to look into a deadly police shooting 2 months after it happened. Louisville police shot and killed 26-year-old Brianna Taylor in her apartment during what her family calls a botched drug raid. Errol Barnett is following this story.
There's been a lot of conversation going back and forth about, you know, how do we get the truth out on this?
The Louisville police chief says the department will soon.
I don't know how good y'all can hear that because it's kind of low.
The death of Breonna
it's kind of
Taylor
low.
And pass it to Commonwealth and federal officials.
Both offices will have an opportunity to review the investigation and make any decisions they want to make from there.
The 26-year-old was shot and killed March 13th when Louisville police raided her home. The search warrant states that authorities thought this man, Jamarcus Glover, was using Taylor's apartment for his mailing address. And
now, see, this make it even worse. Now, look here. Now, the guy we got right here is a way different description of her actual boyfriend. And what, if I'm not mistaken, what I had read, this dude was already locked up. So again, it raises question now. If this dude was already locked up, how did y'all miss that? If that's true, he was already locked up. I read somewhere say this guy was already locked up. How the hell did y'all make this mistake like this? How? How did you make this big ass mistake like this? If it's true that this man is already locked up.
to stash drugs and money. Officers later discovered that Glover had been arrested shortly before the raid.
Well, I'll be damned. There it go right there. Y'all heard that? He was arrested shortly before the raid. Well, I just got my answer right there. So again, that raised questions now. How did y'all get that mixed up? Y'all the police did. Y'all should have this in your data file that this man was already been arrested. He was already on lockdown. So what is going on here? What is going on here? Or is it possibly that, if it's safe to use the terms, that these may have been crooked cops? How many of y'all agree with me when I say that? And I'm looking dead in the camera. Are we dealing with a case of crooked cops? And I'm not just saying that because they shot a black person. I'm saying that, period. Are we dealing with a case of crooked cops?
Crump represents Taylor's family.
This was a completely unnecessary and justifiable killing of an innocent woman. These police officers botched the execution.
Darren, you say you got Crump number. You think he'll talk to me? You say you got this guy number, Benjamin Crump. You think he'll talk to me?
Of a search warrant.
Attorneys say nothing illegal was found in Taylor's home. They say when they busted through the door, Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, started shooting and injured an officer. His family says Walker was just protecting their home.
He's been licensed for a few years. He intended to protect his home from what he thought was a break-in.
Walker is now out of jail, but charged with attempted murder of a police officer.
Best case scenario for me is for a thorough investigation to be done where these charges are dropped.
The mayor says this investigation has to help rebuild the public's trust.
As we go through issue after issue, where we see communities of color involved in incidences like this, as a country, we need to do much better. That includes my city as well.
Now, we should note that there is a Kenneth Walker named in the search warrant, but the link between him and, or I should say there's an Adrian Walker named in the search warrant, but the relationship between him and Kenneth Walker, if any, just isn't known right now. And we should also make it clear that there is no publicly available link between Jamarcus Glover and Breonna Taylor. Jamarcus is the man police believe was stashing drugs in the apartment. So there are many more questions to be answered in this case. Anthony?
Sure are, Errol. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. So the question has been answered. The guy that they were looking for, the guy was locked up. I don't know how long prior, but prior to this going down, the man was already locked up. So again, how did y'all drop the ball on that? You know, I mean, for what I'm gathering and listening to this, y'all weren't even supposed to be there in the first place. So I don't know. Because I watch a lot of cop shows. I thought once they get like intel, they type it in the computer. And once they type it in the computer, something should pop up and let them know, hey, you know, either they on the run or this person's locked up or anything like that. That's what I thought. But I'm not, I mean, I thought that's how it worked. But then again, so much shit changed now. Who knows what the fuck happens now? But, you know, this is tragic. You know, this should never had happened. it should never had happen. You know, this a big fuck up on their part, a major fuck up on their part, a major fuck up. And I don't see how they gonna get out of this. I don't know how they gonna get out of this, because y'all fucked up bad on this one. Y'all fucked up bad on this one. All right, guys, let's go to the next clip.
This morning, the family of a Kentucky woman shot and killed by police is demanding answers, filing a wrongful death lawsuit against 3 officers. Breonna Taylor's family claiming officers blindly fired more than 20 shots into her apartment 2 months ago. On March 13th, 3 officers entered Taylor's apartment while she and her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, were sleeping. The officers were executing a search warrant as part of a drug investigation. Police claim Taylor's ex-boyfriend was shipping drugs to her apartment to avoid detection.
This is not a woman who would sacrifice her life and her family morals and values to sell drugs on the street.
Louisville police say the night of Taylor's death, the officers knocked several times and
You know what? Listen to what the auntie say. Usually I'll rebuttal and say, well, we say that when people is gone, but we don't be around people 24/7 to know what they doing, because, you know, we got a lot of people that put on a persona. When they be in front of our face, they put on this persona like they so innocent and they want her to fly. But behind closed dark doors, you know, man, you know, they could be a devil in disguise. Y'all know I do a lot of stories where we see that. People be in front of cameras and stuff, boohooing and crying, talking about they lost a loved one, they lost a child, and this, that, and the third. But then kind of find out later, they was the one who did it, you know? But for some reason, I'm feeling it in my heart and soul. The auntie may be right about this young lady right here. I feel it in my heart and soul. She may be right about this. If you want to judge a book by its cover, you know. I mean, I think she may be right about this. But let's continue.
Announced their presence before entering, and when they did, they were met by gunfire from Walker, a licensed gun owner. Defense attorneys for Walker say he fired in self-defense, claiming police did not announce themselves. They say Walker thought the officers were breaking in.
They did not identify themselves and that they were in plain clothes.
And now the Commonwealth Attorney's Office is
Oh, now see, I didn't know that. He said they was in plain clothes. So they wasn't in police uniform? Is that what he's saying? They was in plain clothes and didn't announce themselves? So if that's the case, then, you know, I'm like this, shit. What do you expect? Especially if that's a fucked up neighborhood. If that's a fucked up neighborhood and that neighborhood is known for people kicking in doors and doing shit like that, and you ain't announcing yourself, then my question is, what do y'all expect? Why would y'all even try to charge him with attempted murder with the police when the police came over there busting in through their door and didn't have on uniforms? For what I just heard Crump just said, they had on regular clothes. So again, right now, I'm in favor of the man and his girl. The police dropped the ball bad on this one. Real bad.
Calling for Kentucky's Attorney General to appoint a special
London
prosecutor.
Link, what's going on, my brother?
It has been more than 2 months with no statement from the
Blaze
public
Scott, thank
to
you,
the
dear.
public regarding this incident. We call for an independent investigation into her death.
Kentucky's governor calls the case troubling. He's asking state officials to review the findings of the police investigation.
Walker shot one officer in the leg and has been charged with first-degree assault and attempted murder of a police officer. Taylor's family says she was on the front lines fighting the coronavirus at the time of her death. They were...
Now see, that's why it's the question. That's why I mentioned, let's piece all this together. Cops come to my house. I don't know who you are. Probably never seen you before. You're not in uniform. Didn't knock on the door. Didn't say police. Didn't say search warrant. You didn't say none of this. So you bust up in my shit. I don't think you trying to rob me. So yeah, pap, pap, pap. You know, I'm protecting my home because I don't know what you motherfuckers doing. We're in here asleep. How many of y'all have been asleep and be sleeping so good that when motherfuckers come in, knocking on your door or busting in your room, that shit started the fuck out of you? Or if you in a deep sleep, even your phone. If you got your phone on and the rings loud, that shit startles the fuck out of you. And you be looking around and shit like, what the fuck is that? Because a lot of us been in such a deep sleep and a good ass sleep on top of that, that any noise that's loud enough would startle anybody. Amen? It would startle anybody. So why did he get a charge at all? What wrong did y'all find that this man did? So again, right now, I'm still on their side.
Concerned about her getting sick, not shot.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
My man London Link said, I don't care. I would have shot if they had on police outfits. If they kicked in my door, it could be a legal hit. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I asked the question earlier, are we dealing with a case of possibility crooked cops? Are we dealing with a case of that? Crooked cops. This is sad, man. This is sad. Let's check this one out. Let's see what this one's saying right here.
And all news since our 6 o'clock news tonight. For the first time, the mother of Breonna Taylor, the young Louisville EMT shot and killed by Metro Police, is talking about how she learned about the police raid into her daughter's home. Tamika Palmer says in this interview that she actually got a call from Brianna's boyfriend, Kenny, seconds after the fatal shooting.
I could hear Kenny just like screaming and crying, and I could hear all this noise, but I'm not knowing what this noise was. Like I didn't, and I'm like, what is going on, Kenny? And he's like, I think Brianna is, he said, somebody was trying to break in here, and I think they shot Brianna.
This interview, conducted with Palmer in Louisville by news organization TMX and given to WHS 11 News Tonight. The 26-year-old Taylor was shot and killed on March 13th at her South Louisville home, where her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, was also living. After the shooting, LMPD investigators said officers were serving a warrant in a narcotics investigation. But in a new lawsuit filed against 3 LMPD officers, Taylor's family says they were looking for Taylor's ex-boyfriend and had actually arrested him before the warrant was served that day. Brianna's attorney says police failed to communicate. Her family says there were never any drugs in her home.
Never was no drugs in there, like ever. Like, how can you say there's drugs in this house? I live there firsthand. I know this. I live here. We're here 24/7. No, there's no drugs in here.
When you go in and you look at this house, they were shooting from outside the house like this was the Wild Wild West. Bullets went through Brianna's apartment into the neighboring apartment.
The lawsuit also says a 5-year-old was sleeping in that next door apartment. One of the officers, John Mattingly, was shot in the leg during the incident. The boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, is charged with attempted murder of a police officer. Taylor's attorney says police never identified themselves that early morning, and Walker shot at the officers in self-defense and is a registered gun owner. In a statement tonight, an LMPD spokesperson says this is an ongoing public integrity unit investigation and it wouldn't be appropriate to comment beyond their initial statements.
I want to say this right here. You know, I spoke about the auntie earlier, and you know, she said Brianna would never be a person that would put herself in a situation like that to deal with somebody like that, something to that nature. Well, according to what they just said right here, the person they was actually looking for was her ex-boyfriend, and apparently the ex-boyfriend was doing that type of activity while she was dealing with him. Now, was he living with her at the time? I have no idea. I have no idea. But this is why I say We say this when people is gone, but we're not with people 24/7 to say, you know, what they dip into, what they don't dip into. So she was messing with somebody who they had that street life going on. They had that drug shit going on. Now, why did they break up? I had no idea. But apparently, it didn't stop her from doing what she was doing. Amen? It didn't stop her from doing what she was doing. Maybe she saw the life he was living. She didn't want to deal with that shit no more because she had bigger fish to fry than to sit up there and deal with some bullshit like that. Now, according to what they saying right here, he probably wasn't doing none of that stuff. This man probably was straightforward. Straightforward. And probably one of the best things that happened to her in her life. And hell, he probably was a supportive man. You know what I'm saying? Was so supportive and helping her get to where she was before she died. All right? But nevertheless, regardless about her past or the people who she dealt with in the past, this should not have happened to her. She didn't deserve this at all. Neither one of them deserved this. And that man was already locked up. So again, what the fuck happened? I don't know. I don't know. Now I got something right here that said there was new details in the search warrant. So let's see what they're talking about right here.
New documents are showing a suspected drug dealer police were looking for the night officers shot Taylor made, quote, frequent trips to her home. Tonight, Gabrigadis has that, plus new comments from the family's nationally known attorney.
In January, police believed the suspected drug dealer, Jamarcus Glover, was using Breonna Taylor's apartment to ship drugs to avoid detection. The search warrant states Glover and second suspect, Adrian Walker, used this vehicle to travel to and from a trap house on Elliott Avenue, more than 10 miles from Taylor's apartment on Springfield Drive. In one instance, detectives said Glover was seen picking up a package from Taylor's home and then taking it to another known drug house. He was charged the same morning Taylor was killed. In March, a judge signed a no-knock entry so police could enter the EMT's home for a narcotics investigation without having to identify themselves. But LMPD says detectives knocked several times and
they signed a no-knock entry. So if I'm hearing it right, if they sign a document saying they can go in without knocking or announcing themselves, then I guess logically or the law of it, they did nothing wrong. I guess. But let's continue to listen to some more of this.
announced their presence by themselves. But addicts investigated a no-knock entry so police owned a drug house. He was charged the same morning Taylor was killed. In March, a judge signed a no-knock entry so police could enter the EMT's home for a narcotics investigation without having to identify themselves. But LMPD says,
oh, wow. Oh, wow. This may, I don't know, guys, after hearing that, this may just tip in their favor. This may just tip in their favor after hearing that. The judge signed a no-knock, which means they didn't have to announce themselves when they got there. That's why I told y'all, let's continue with this, and let's hear more. And I just heard that. So now I'm going, now how this is going to get flipped. Because if the judge signed this, then what law did the police break? Damn. This shit might finna tip in their favor, y'all. Damn. But I'm gonna let y'all hear it again.
Package from Taylor's home and then taking it to another known drug house. He was charged the same morning Taylor was killed. In March, a judge signed a no-knock entry so police could enter the EMT's home for a narcotics investigation without having to identify themselves. But LMPD says detectives knocked several times and announced their presence. Taylor's attorneys, which included...
All right, so we just heard something new. Again, guys, a lot of stuff that I'm hearing it for the first time with y'all. I'm doing the story for the first time with y'all. Y'all just heard that. Now they claiming now that they did knock and announce themselves. Now, if that is true that they did that, then this whole story finna flip. The whole story finna flip. But still doesn't mean this young lady had to lose her life. Alright? But however though, if it's true what they saying, that they did knock and announce themselves, then here's how I'm looking at it now. A lot of you might not agree with me when I say this. He put that girl life in jeopardy. Okay? He put that girl life in jeopardy by shooting the shit. That's if it's true what they saying. If they did do that, then I'm gonna have to look at him and say he put her in jeopardy. If they announce themselves.
National Civil Rights Attorney Ben Crump have 4 witnesses who plan to prove them wrong.
They did not identify themselves and that they were in plain clothes.
Kenny Walker right now, his case is so important too because he got charged with attempted murder of a police officer.
Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, allegedly shot one of the officers in self-defense. Though he was arrested and charged, records show a judge released him on home incarceration. Wednesday, Louisville Mayor Greg Fisher said the Commonwealth's attorney would be recusing himself in Taylor's case because he's prosecuting Kenneth Walker.
Our expectations and hope and intentions with this case are to shed light on what is a very corrupt police department that has been able, through self-policing and investigating itself, to get away with these kinds of things too often in the past.
LMPD won't comment on pending litigation. Senaiga Bergerges, WHAS 11 News.
I see a couple of y'all asking about the police cameras. Well, here's the thing. I hope they got camera footage. And if they do got camera footage, I'm pretty much sure the public's going to ask for it to be released. Or the police is going to release it so they can clear their name. But something tell me they don't have it because they were saying something about they was in they weren't in uniform. They was in regular clothing, you know. So y'all know how that works with the body camera. If they got it on, most of the time they'll come out later and say, "Hey, we released the police footage," you know. So I'm with y'all on that one. I would like to see the police footage myself. All right. I'd like to see that myself. And I hope it does come out. I hope it does come out. Now, Issa, I saw you said something about this happened in March. Where dear Aubrey case happened in February. Remember, I've been had Aubrey's story in my email. But I never touched this story. Because at the time, the story was so vague. It wasn't enough details in it. So that's why they were cranked up alive or never did a video about his story until this video came out. And now the shit is up there now because of this video. A lot of these stories that we do, they've been happening like months ago. But like new evidence and stuff like this, it gets bring up to the limelight now. All right? Because something might have been said about her story back in March. It probably wasn't just nationwide. It was probably just locally. Like a lot of our Memphis stories. You know, they probably say it down here, but if it's something just big as fuck, then it goes nationwide. All right? So, yes, a lot of these stories do be a month or two old. But depending on the evidence that's coming out, that's when they're going to make a big cahoose about it. Same thing with Aubrey. Came out, he was shot for jogging, they left it at that. But now as the more as I do their story, everybody else do their story, since the GBI done got involved, now it's climbing up the ladder now. And that's why the people was asking the GBI, are y'all out here because the video surfaced? Because when the video didn't surface, y'all wasn't nowhere to be found. They kind of brushed the shit off. But now this video has surfaced, and y'all seen what happened. Now the GBI's out here. Crazy how these stores work, but this is what they do. This is what they do. Whew. Man. Man, Shit crazy, man. I got another video here, guys, where they talk about new details about Brianna's boyfriend. So this one gonna be very interesting. After hearing this, I would love to hear what they saying about this, because again, like I said, read my lips. If it is true that the police did knock and announce themselves, then I'm gonna look at the boyfriend now. You shouldn't have shot. And by you shotting, you put your girl in danger, bruh. And look what happened. But that's only if what they saying is true. Only if what they saying is true. We don't know that yet. We need to see some body cam footage. Amen. But let's see what they saying about the boyfriend.
More about the boyfriend, who says he was trying to protect himself and his girlfriend, Breonna Taylor, when police were entering their home during a drug raid. Our coverage is continuing on the still developing story. Hello, everyone. I'm Doug Prophet. Kenneth Walker was charged with attempted murder of a police officer when he opened fire on March 13th. Tonight, Gabrielle is showing us the aftermath of the shooting.
These images released by attorneys for Breonna Taylor's family give us a better idea of what transpired that early March morning when the former Louisville EMT was killed during an LMPD drug raid. Bullet holes in her living room above the bathroom sink, even hitting kitchen cookware and shattering a sliding glass door. Attorneys believe police were shooting blindly from outside and fired more than 20 rounds.
Man, what kind of guns did they have? Y'all see that shit? What kind of guns they had, man? They blazed that motherfucker up. Y'all see that shit?
Well, the main focus is here is to
images released by attorney
Story. Hello, the boyfriend, who says he was trying to protect himself and his girlfriend, Breonna Taylor, when police were entering their home during a drug raid. Our coverage is continuing on the still developing story. Hello, everyone. I'm Doug Prophet. Kenneth Walker was charged with attempted murder of a police officer when he opened fire on March 13th. Tonight, Gabrielle is showing us the aftermath of the shooting.
These images released by attorneys for Breonna Taylor's family give us a better idea of what transpired that early March morning when the former Louisville EMT was killed during an LMPD drug raid. Bullet holes in her living room above the bathroom sink, even hitting kitchen cookware and shattering a sliding glass door. Attorneys believe police were shooting blindly from outside and fired more than 20 rounds.
well, the main focus is here is to make sure that Brianna's family gets the facts. They deserve that. The community deserves this.
Mayor Greg Fisher says next week the investigation will be sent to the FBI and U.S. Attorney for review. Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker III, was charged with attempted murder of a police officer. He shot at police in what he says was self-defense, thinking it was a home invasion. In an affidavit, his father says Walker was about to start a new job at the post office, adding his son is not a drug dealer. Documents show Walker graduated from Valley High School, where he played football for 4 years before attending Western Kentucky University.
The question is whether the police officers operated under the constitutional limits that apply to them at the time they used force.
Louisville lawyer and former federal prosecutor Kent Wicker says these kind of cases are always challenging because the law almost never second guesses strategy, like how police used a no-knock search warrant just after midnight.
The rules that we...
Y'all heard what she just said, and I believe her on that. You know, with a lot of stuff that in this era that we in now, a lot of stuff is on their side. A lot of stuff is on their side. So a lot of people making a fuss about the no-knock thing, but here's the thing, a judge signed off on it. So I agree with her. She's absolutely right. A lot of shit that's going on in this era right now is on the law side, you know? So even though we listen to this and hearing and seeing how fucked up it is, you know, just like y'all just heard the man say, we have to see, was they in a constitution right or something like that he just said when they did this. And what she said, you know, hey, I mean, stories like this are tricky. You know, and I think it's going to be a tricky one. It's going to be real tricky unless we're going to have some body cam footage that come out. Unless we're going to have some body cam footage that's going to come out. And I hope they do, but I seriously doubt it. Rod, I see you in a minute. What's going on, bro? I ain't seen you in a minute. How you doing, Rod? Like, bro, hey, babe, what's going on? How you doing? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Chantel, I seen the bill. What's going on? She said high powered as heck, whatever. I mean, y'all see this shit? They done blazed that motherfucker up. They blazed that motherfucker up. You see all them dents and shit they put in them pots and shit like that? And they blazed that motherfucker up. That is horrible. That is horrible. I'm sorry. Now that I've seen that, I can see how she got hit 8 times. They fucked that apartment up. God damn, man.
Have set up, it's difficult to prosecute a police officer who's in the public interest in trying to do the job that we set out.
But there are some exceptions.
Either acting intentionally wrongfully, that he's doing something that he knows is not permitted by the law, acting so far outside of the realm of reasonableness.
Tonight, Gabriel Gaddigas, WHAS 11 News.
God damn. Ooh, Jesus Christ. Chantel said the undercover vice all come in plain clothes in Milwaukee or Kalamazoo. Man, Sonya said that's ridiculous. After midnight, no knock gave them power. Aisha said, how do police shoot blindly into a home as they aren't professionally trained? London League said, wait. Who does a drug raid in regular clothes? I'm good, Rod. Good to see you, bro. It's good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Jesus Christ. This is crazy, yo, for real. Library say they ask questions later because they hate us. You really believe that? Library, you really believe that? Are you saying cops hate us, or you just talking about white people hate blacks? How you coming with that? Do you really believe that? And if y'all haven't, man, please hit that thumbs up. If y'all want to come in and talk, man, I'll open up this stream. Y'all let y'all come in and talk, man, because this is crazy. This is crazy, man. After seeing that, how they fucked that apartment up like that, golly. I'm sorry. I'm glad I wasn't there. You say you know that for a fact? Oh, okay, I hear you. Jesus Christ, man. Golly, man. That's crazy as fuck. And then that ain't all of it. I got a video right here. Said there's new photos that surfaced. Let's have a look.
To Kentucky, where we're seeing photos of Breonna Taylor's apartment following the deadly police encounter for the very first time. Now, these photos, released by Taylor's family lawyer, show the damage caused by the police after they entered the apartment with a search warrant and fired more than 20 rounds on March 13th. Taylor was hit at least 8 times. After gaining national attention, the case will be handed over to the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office once the local investigation is complete. So Tessa Duvall has been reporting extensively on this fatal shooting. She's a reporter for the Courier-Journal in Louisville. Damn. Thank you so much for joining us, Tessa. So we're learning more information about what happened that night, and we're seeing these photos. Are the photos giving us any additional information about why things went so badly?
Absolutely. These photos are showing just the extent of damage that took place in her apartment. And so what we've learned, through court documents, through a lawsuit, through Breonna Taylor's family attorneys, is that officers fired from multiple locations. And so with these photos, we are able to tell, really the extent of the damage in her home. I mean, in her kitchen, in her bathroom, in bedrooms, the patio.
I'm looking at what Chantel just said. And you may got a point. You may have a point. Chantel said, I think ambushing him to make sure he didn't flush the thing was the plan. It could be. You know what? Matter of fact, to me, that makes a whole lot of sense. Hey, if we ain't got to say nothing, you ain't got time to hide your shit. So I like that. I like that, Chantel. What up, Brielle? I'm gonna open up the stream, y'all, man, and put the link in there. If y'all want to come in and say something about it, y'all more than welcome to. So, but anyway, let's continue. This is nuts. Let's continue.
Door, sliding glass patio door into her apartment. You can tell there are bullet holes through the curtains that were drawn and the glass is shattered. And so that really backs up one of the large claims made in this lawsuit is that officers were firing from multiple locations and perhaps did not have a line of sight when they were shooting.
We also know that the judge issued a no-knock warrant. What does that mean? Why is that a critical step in this case?
Absolutely. So that is one of the really contentious points about this case. So there were 2 warrants executed the night that Breonna Taylor was killed. There was the one for her apartment, which had her name and 2 other individuals on it. And then there was a second warrant for a home about 10 miles away. They were executed at about the same time.
Y'all heard that? What up, Ron? Y'all heard that? There was 2 of them executed. One for her address with her name on it and a couple more people's name on it, and one not too far from it, and they both hit them at the same time. So it makes me wonder now, how bad was that neighborhood over there? Did they have undercovers, watching the scene, staking out the scene, or maybe had undercovers that bought drugs, not from Brianna's house. I'm not talking about her house, but just the neighborhood period. Did they have undercovers around that area staking out the scene about drugs and shit? I don't know. But they had 2 warrants not too far from each other, and boom, wow.
This was in relation to a narcotics investigation, and police believed that they had seen one of the suspects who has a history of drug offenses at her apartment picking up a box. Brianna had dated this individual a couple of years ago, and so based on having seen him go to her apartment, knowing that she had this connection to him, they got no-knock warrants signed off by a judge for both of these locations. So this is a huge sticking point because Kenneth Walker, who's Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, was at home with her, said that he did not hear a knock, as well as multiple neighbors who Breonna Taylor's family attorneys have talked to, all said they didn't hear knocking. And so this is really significant because if Kenneth Walker did not hear a knock and believed that his home, his girlfriend's home where he was staying was being broken into, that gives significant context as to why he fired a shot. He does not deny that he fired this shot.
Fix your microphone, ma'am. Damn.
And what he's saying is he didn't know it was a police officer. And so now he is being charged with attempted murder of a police officer because he fired the shot, and one of the officers was hit in the leg and had to undergo surgery. And so he's facing these very serious charges, and Breonna Taylor's family and attorneys feel very seriously that part of getting justice in this situation is seeing those charges dropped against him.
And Tessa, I feel like we got to take maybe a little bit of step back, because I feel like a lot of people may have not even heard about the story or just starting to hear about the story. Brianna was in her apartment at the time when this no-knock warrant was issued and officers came in. She was sleeping on the couch, right? She had absolutely no idea what was happening.
Right. So Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, were in bed, according to statements made by her attorney. they had already gone to bed for the evening. It's important to know that this warrant was served around 12:40 a.m. So, the fact that they were in bed is very likely. So, from what they're saying is from Kenneth Walker's perspective, this is the middle of the night. Someone's banging on their door. He says that police did not identify themselves. And important thing to note here is that police are saying that officers identified themselves and only used a battering ram after no one answered the door. But the warrant that was signed off on was a no-knock warrant.
And Tessa, you spoke with both the attorney, Ben Crump, and Breonna Taylor's mother. We've seen Attorney Crump give interviews before, but I'm really interested in what Breonna Taylor's mother had to tell you.
Of course, she's devastated by this. That was her daughter who was working in healthcare at this crucial time, during a pandemic. She said her daughter had big plans for her future, that she wanted to buy a house and she really wanted to become a registered nurse. And those were goals that she was working toward. She wanted to start a family, and she was a really big family person. Her family was really important to her, and she was really tight with her friends. And one thing that her mother said to me was, I don't think they know what they took from us. So really, this is a huge loss for them and their family. And I think for the last 2 months, they've wondered why this hasn't been talked about more. And so that's where we see, Attorney Ben Crump come in. He's got experience with a lot of these really high-profile cases involving the really controversial deaths of Black Americans, especially when police are involved.
Tessa, before we let you go, I got to ask you about the top prosecutor. That person has recused themselves from this case. What's going on with that?
So what we've learned is that the Commonwealth attorney in this case, who would normally review the case after the police are done with their investigation, has decided to recuse himself because he is choosing to, or rather he is prosecuting Kenneth Walker, the boyfriend, for this attempted murder of a police officer charge. So now the Attorney General's office will review this, decide if any criminal charges need to be brought, and U.S. Attorney's office and the local FBI office will also review the case.
All right, Tessa Duvall, thank you so much for your reporting. Really appreciate you taking the time out to talk to us.
I don't know why y'all sit up there let her talk that long. Her damn microphone going in and out like that. You know what I mean? I was catching like every other sentence. I can't hear that shit. How many of y'all made out what she was saying? I couldn't hear that shit. I couldn't hear that shit at all. I mean, Jesus Christ, I mean, shit, go get you a little cheap microphone or something. I could barely hear what that girl was saying. But I get the gist of what she was saying, but I could barely hear what she was saying, though. Shit. Anyway, like I said, y'all want to come make it in the comments, anything like that, man, I'll put the string y'all link in there if y'all want to come make a comment, anything like that. So, other than that, though, we're going to continue with the show. Wow. All right, let's take a look at this right here. I got two of them where the family's supposed to be speaking out. I want to hear what the family got to say. All right, what up, Cole Pennsylvania spoke to? What up with you? Oh, yeah, that's what I fucked up. Okay. Now let me get rid of that. All right.
26-year-old Breonna Taylor said she loved helping others as a EMT on the front lines in Louisville, Kentucky. But no one could have saved her after police stormed into her home in the middle of the night, shot her 8 times, and killed her in a botched raid. Now her mom, Tamika Palmer, is suing 3 police officers and demanding answers. And she joins us now with civil rights attorney Ben Crump. Now, Ms. Palmer, we're going to get to the gist of this story first with your attorney, and then we'll talk to you. So go ahead, Joy.
Oh, okay. Well, Attorney Crump, Breonna and her boyfriend, Kenny, were at home asleep when the police entered the home. They thought it was an intruder and actually called 911. Tell us about what happened next.
Certainly, Joy, and it's unbelievable that they claim at first they announced themselves. Now they have a no-knock warrant, and they.
Now, my man Darren, y'all saw, he said earlier, he said he has Benjamin Crump's number. So I guess he's going to call Benjamin Crump and see if Benjamin Crump come on the show. If he does, I think that'll be great because I would love to talk to attorneys, had him on the show as well. So we can get Benjamin Crump on the show and he can shed some more light on this. Well, tell us what he can tell us, because of course he can't tell us everything. But talk to us and explain to us what he can. That'd be great right there. How many of you agree? Amen.
Didn't announce themselves. So Brianna and Kenny are sleeping in their bed at around 1 in the morning on a Thursday night. And they hear something, they call 911. That tells you their mentality is they believe they're about to be the subject of a home invasion. And so Kenny, who is a registered gun owner, gets his gun and they go towards the living room area. And when they breach the door with a battering ram and bust it open, Kenny shoots at the door. And
we got a new person in the building, Ariel Williams. How you doing, dear? Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Hopefully you hit that thumbs up. You came in. Everybody welcome Miss Ariel.
Then the police just open up 25, 30 rounds from the front door, from the window, from outside the back patio door. They're shooting blindly. In fact, the bullet goes in the neighbor's apartment, 5-year-old daughter's room, and they're just shooting these shots so recklessly.
And, you know, that's another thing again right there. I forgot. Yes, it was said that there was a 5-year-old nearby sleeping while all this gun blazing going on. You know, so I haven't heard anything about the 5-year-old dying. He or she, I hope they are okay. But, you know, that's a motherfucking ridiculous, too. You got the middle of the night. They claiming you didn't announce yourself. Guns start blazing. You got children around. I mean, Jesus Christ. This had to be one hell of a night for everybody. And again, to see that apartment fucked up the way it was, this was a hell of a night for everybody. This is insane, and this is motherfucking ridiculous.
And Brianna, who is barely dressed in her underwear, her body is riddled with bullets, at least 8
Jesus
bullets.
Christ.
And Kenny and her
barely had clothes on, body riddled with bullets, according to Benjamin Crump. I hope Derek can get him on the show. What's going on? Ivira, how you doing, babe? Good evening. Good evening.
Her never know that this is the police because they don't identify themselves and they're plain clothes. And now they have arrested Kenny Parker for attempted murder. And it begs to question, do African Americans have a right to the Second Amendment to defend our castle, to defend our women, to defend our people?
Y'all hear what he said? Y'all hear what he just said? So, like Barrett, this will have to go in your neck of the woods, because he pretty much just asked the same question like you just saying earlier. You know, do we as blacks have the right for our Second Amendment? For those who didn't hear it, let me play it again.
Dressed in her underwear, her body is riddled with bullets, at least 8 bullets. And Kenny and her never know that this is the police because they don't identify themselves and they're plain clothes. And now they have arrested Kenny Parker for attempted murder. And it begs the question, do African Americans have a right to the Second Amendment to defend our castle, to defend our women, to defend our people?
Libera, you said we don't need police in our neighborhoods. We need black men. Let me see where can I go with that with you? Where can I go with that with you? Well, one thing I always say, you heard me say this too. I think it's a beautiful thing when we do come together and not wait till it's too late to come together. But it's a beautiful thing that we do come together. So before I pass, and I'm pretty much sure a lot of you would agree, I would love to see us come together and try to monitor our own neighborhood and keep bullshit out of it. But ma'am, you and I both know that ain't finna happen no time soon. Would I like to see it happen? Would you like to see it happen? I'm pretty much sure you do. All right? But in the era that we in, that's not going to happen. Because a lot of us too stubborn. A lot of us too hard-headed. A lot of us make emotion decisions which costs the life of other folks, if not our own life. All right? Anytime people still getting shot and killed over words, let me repeat that. Anytime people still get killed and shot over words, then we're not going to see that no time soon, dear. But before I leave this earth, I would love to see that the black people come together and monitor their neighborhood. Because the white people ain't got no problem doing it. You go to any white neighborhood right now, neighborhood's clean, trash nowhere, always sitting on the porch, just monitoring their area. And ain't nothing wrong with them doing that. Because the more they do that, the more they shit stay safe. But a lot of us, we can't even mind our own business because a lot of people won't let us mind our own business. Because everybody always want to fuck with everybody. And you can't say I lie. Even you know this is true. Amen? Even you know this is true. It can happen, but we make it too impossible to happen. But I would love to see it before I pass. That's my answer to that, what you said.
So let me just ask you this, though, that because you say that this is was a narcotics investigation that went wrong, and that the person they were actually looking for was already in police custody. So how
what up, Ralph? I see you in the building.
Can you please explain what happened there?
And that's where Brianna's mother, Tamika Palmer, and her little sister, Janiyah, they have been every day for 2 months now, Joy, trying to get answers from the Louisville Metropolitan Police Department. And as my co-counsel Anita Baker and I have discovered, they had the primary suspect of this search warrant in their custody. If they just would have checked.
Brianna said they put soy in the food. Black and white men be soft today. Steph said men and women need to just get some act right, start raising thugs, pimps, players, and hoes, that there will be more families and better communities. Library said, I repeat, we need black men to protect and provide. They need to love themselves. Why do you think it's like that? Dear, when you find out the answer, please tell me. I wish I had the answer why it's not like that. And again, think about this. If your mom and dad still living and your grandma and your granddad is still living, how many times you heard stories that they told you, the stuff that y'all doing today, we didn't have to worry about that back then. We can actually leave our doors unlocked and nobody will fuck with us. We can actually go to parties. Nobody will fuck with us. We can actually go to dance halls. We never had the problems that y'all young generation is having now. So what's the answer? There is no answer. What's the solution? The solution is everybody start coming together. And like you said, love themselves. But then that leaves another question like you just said. Why don't we? I don't know. But if you can find the answer, dear, please tell me.
They would have said had no need to use a battering ram and do this dangerous no-knock search warrant. As Sonny can tell you, it's one of the most dangerous, intrusive manners that you can violate a citizen's Fourth Amendment rights because they don't know who you are.
See, look what Sonya said. She said, Chris, I don't know how old you are, Sonya, but apparently by you saying that, you older than me. I just turned 40 this year. She's saying we respected ourselves. We respected ourselves. And that's another thing we done lost too, like Barrow. We don't respect ourselves. So if we don't respect ourselves, how can we respect others? We in the era now that a lot of us don't give a damn about killing another person's child. What's that young boy name that they was after his daddy? They led that young boy in that alley and they shot him execution style. What's that boy name? Now you tell me where the love at. You brought a child in this shit. Your aim was at the dad. But since you couldn't get the dad, y'all took his child and executed his child. So again, if we can't love each other ourselves, then how can we expect to love everybody else? Like Brianna said, you had to be dirty back then to get killed. Sonya, 58 years old. Salute to you, man. 58 years old. How about that? How about that?
You coming in with guns, you move the certain way, especially if you're an African American, it's shoot first, ask questions later.
Now, Ms. Palmer.
How many of y'all agree with that, what he just said? He said when it comes to black African Americans, they shoot first, ask questions later. How many of y'all agree with that? I'm on the fence with that. I can't say I 100% agree. But, you know, when stuff like this goes on and cases like Arbery, you have to kind of think about that a little bit. Think outside the box. I know you don't want to think like that, but sometimes you got to think like that outside the box when you hear some of these stories nowadays. So what he just said, and just listen to him. I hope I do get him on the show. I hope I do. So Darren, please work your magic, bro, and see can we get him on the show. But for what he just said right there, how many of y'all agree with him on that?
We are more than sorry for the loss of your daughter, especially
Bossy.
all this. It's been 2 months since Brianna was killed, and you say no one from the police department has reached out to you or anyone else in the family? What did they tell you happened?
They didn't give me any answers. When I first got there, the street was.
Her mama looked kind of young herself, man. Mighty beautiful woman right there. She looked kind of young herself. That's a mighty fine woman right there, in my opinion.
Covered with what police officers. But there was an officer there who told me that I told her I needed to get through there, that something was going on at my daughter's home. And she told me that I needed to get to the hospital because there was the first officer and the second was whoever else was hurt, which would have been Brianna. Right. So of course I leave and
Cole Pepsi said in this case she do agree with Crump.
I told them who I'm looking for.
Sonya said, Chris, we listened and didn't want to dishonor our family. And see, that's what we need back right there. That's what we need right there, honoring the family, you know, because a lot of people be happy to have children and to leave their legacy behind, you know, especially if you got a positive mom and a positive dad in the family. You know, if you got both of your parents that's positive, then you got the best thing going on. And they want to leave their legacy behind. And her mom probably the same way. She probably went to school. She probably was in the medical field, anything like that. You know, I don't know. But if it was her mom that wrote off on her to have her get her goals going like that, and not only that, if she had a father in her life, which ain't nobody mentioned nothing about the father yet, so I'm assuming he wasn't there. I don't know. But if the mom was there and had her daughter going in the right direction, taught her to go in the right direction, then you carry on your folks' legacy. And that's what a lot of them want to see. Amen.
Wait, I said, well, maybe they're not here yet. So I waited for 2 hours. I waited for almost.
They were. And they're giving you the runaround, basically. To me, that is unbelievable. And the fact that they still have not reached out. But, Sonny, you have the next question.
Yes. Ben, Attorney Crump, Kenny was arrested and charged with attempted murder of a police officer. But he was a registered gun owner and used it in what he believed was self-defense. And I just think we also need to mention that Brianna had no criminal history. No evidence of drugs was found in the home as a result of the raid. And she was an EMT and part-time nurse. I think that it's really important to mention.
Now, see, that makes it bad right there. No record, just like me, no record. Didn't do drugs just like me, which I get called a square because I don't do drugs, because I don't smoke or drink. I get called a square. She was an EMT and was a part-time nurse. So this young lady had goals going for herself. She had goals going for herself. And again, if her mom was the one, that instilled all this in her, then she was carrying on her mom's legacy. Her mom was leaving not only a beautiful lady, but she was leaving a legacy behind. But tragically, it's gone now.
That. But Kenny, doesn't her boyfriend have the right to defend himself in his own home? Because we hear so much about stand your ground and the castle doctrine.
Absolutely, Sonny. And it's important to note that Kenny Parker, her boyfriend, had no criminal history. He worked for the post office. She worked at 2 hospitals as an EMT with plans to become a full-time nurse. And so these were 2 young people who had a world full of potential. For these police officers,
sound like the boyfriend was straightforward. Like I said earlier, he may have been a man that was straightforward.
Talked about her has said she was just an angel. She always tried to help people. Her family says she was the glue that brought everybody together. And the fact that when Black women are killed in these tragedies, we don't often talk about them much like we talk about the young men and the boys. And so if you ran for Maud, we want you to stand with Bree because her life matters just as much. And I'm so thankful that it's finally starting to get attention. Senator Kamala Harris has called on the federal government to give a proper investigation, and Governor Brashear of Kentucky has said a special prosecutor needs to be appointed because Tamika Palmer and her family deserve answers.
Yes, they do. Anybody who lose their child deserve answer. Well, hell, we can go further than that. Anybody who lose anybody deserve answer. So he's on point on that. And then that's amazing. You got Kamala Harris, which I don't know much about, but I knew she was running for a Senate position. And you got a governor that come in, hey, we're going to rock with this. We need to get answers. We're going to get answer for Tamika. If that's her name, did I say it right? Miss Palmer. You got to get answers for her. All right?
An apology. How about an apology? Now, the 3 officers involved have been placed on administrative assignment pending an investigation by the Louisville Metro Police Department. Now, Kentucky Governor Andy Richard says others are calling for the federal review. Is that enough? And is it going to be clear that something horrific happened? Are they looking at it this way, that something horrific happened and everyone should be aware that this is not how we treat American citizens, Mr. Crump?
Whoopi, they were not looking at it that way, but with the attention, with the...
Like Barry said, Chris, a whole lot of people are like you. Matter of fact, a huge majority of us never did drugs and no record. Where did I say they did? I never said they did. I'm going by what the story said, and I was talking about me. That wasn't me saying that we got a lot of black folks that hasn't done drugs. I wasn't saying that at all. I wasn't saying it at all.
Outcry now, 2 months later, after everybody has kind of got attention, the COVID-19 crisis apparently interrupted people who would have been protesting, unable to go protest for Breonna Taylor. And really, it was getting swept under the rug. But now what we have to demand is this police chief who would have these officers so recklessly shoot into this apartment complex, which was predominantly African-American. I mean, you have bullet wounds from outside the door, outside the window, showing that they were blindly shooting in. And
yes,
Brianna,
they fucked that apartment up.
she is in
so
her
Ben, we have to go, but believe me, we are going to keep this story in the news, okay? Know that the View is going to help that happen.
All right, guys, so make a disclaimer. This is not my content. This is The View. The View has talked to Benjamin Crump and talked to the mom, and hopefully I will get a chance to talk to Benjamin Crump myself. Again, Darren, hopefully you can work your magic and get Mr. Crump on the show and have him talk. I would love to have him on. I think a lot of people agree with a lot of what he's saying in the chat room. Hey, what can I say? This man, he's one of the few lawyers that I see that really is about getting justice for the people and not about himself. Like the fool we saw night before last, Roddy attorney. I think that motherfucker was just for himself. I don't think he was there for Roddy. I think he was there for himself. Because again, Chris was just asking him simple questions. And every time he asked him a simple question, dude butt in. And he just asked me, what do you got to hide? I mean, why is you doing this? I'm asking him simple questions. And I'm not the one putting them on trial. Y'all came to us or however went to do the interview. I'm asking you questions just like I asked the homeowner question. He didn't get bent up out of shape. He sat back, relaxed, and answered every question that he asked him. But you motherfuckers get on there and you got Roddy looking stupid as fuck. You got him looking like a straight up pussy. Shit. Man. God damn. Let me see, guys, if there's anything else I need to bring to y'all before we get in deeper to the show. And I think I just showed y'all everything that that I needed to show you. I want to show y'all something real quick. And this saddens me a little bit when I see this. Did I do that wrong? I think I might have did that wrong. Hold on. Oh, snap. I made a mistake and deleted it. Shit. Hold on. Let me go get it back. Guys, I want y'all to take a look at this. want y'all to take a look at this right here. This saddens me when I saw this. It really did. It saddened me when I saw this. Oh snap! That's not it. Hold on. I want y'all to take a look at this right here. I'm gonna read to y'all what this says. She said, it says, in the early morning hours of March 13, 2020, Louisville Metro Police broke into my home and murdered me. They shot me 8 times as they were looking for someone that did not live in my home. Someone that was already in police custody. No one has been charged with my murder. My name is Brianna Taylor. That saddened me when I saw this. Cause I know people are good with memes, and to see this girl face and to see that message right there as the dad is talking, that did something to me. So I had to download this picture and I wanted to show it to y'all and the message that was under it. And it's so sad, it almost makes you want to cry. It does. I want y'all to see that. And I put this up here because another reason, the young ladies in this era, as well as the young men, I don't know what the term that they use with fighting now, but somebody had left a comment under one of my videos a while back, and I think it was about the girl, what's her name? It's on the tip of my tongue. The one that got shot in the parking lot. When she got to fight with that girl, she got shot in the parking lot. What was that young lady name? Y'all hear me out. What up, Jen? The girl who I did the video on. The baby daddy was at the gas station somewhere with the new girlfriend. She went over there and fought with the girlfriend. And she got shot. What the girl name's on my Tia, it's Tia something. Tia, it's Tia something. Light-skinned, beautiful young lady lost her life because again, acting out of emotion. But then, people's come back saying that she got jumped, and this, that, and the third, however that went down. But somebody had came in my comment section, and they was like, saying that in a situation like that, somebody, you don't know how they feel, you don't know what they're going through, the same usual routine that people like to say. And she said at that time, it's what's that term she used? It's she didn't say gang. It's a fighting term that she used. And I hear a lot of people use it. I had to go find it. I gotta go find that video and saw that comment. But she was like, you know, at that time, you know, it's pull up something. She said, pull up and do something. And, you know, that's the way things goes, you know. And I had to tell her, I said, but this girl had kids. And for what we read in the story, she pulled up to this gas station with kids and started all this chaos. So you mean to tell me that pull up on somebody whooping their ass was more important than the safety of her own kids? And Tia was a young lady. So you mean to tell me that's more important to y'all now? That's what y'all doing now? It's more important to y'all to put not only yourself in danger, but your children in danger because you want to pull up. Gang, gang. I said, please tell me that's what you're saying. That was more important than the protection of her child. And I think she did come out and say, no, I'm not saying that's more important. I think she kind of get where I was coming from. So she didn't put up no real big fuss or fight about it. But the fact that she came in the comment section and said that, you know, at that point, regardless of what, you know, it's pull up. Well, but with your damn kids in the car? Really? With your kids in the car? I mean, here's the thing, this pull up shit. I'm pretty much sure you knew where he stayed at. This girl, I'm pretty much sure y'all probably know where she stayed at. If she stayed with him, you knew where they was at. So, if you want to pull up that bad and gang and fight, then I think the appropriate thing you would have done to keep your children safe, go home, and hopefully you cool off, but a lot of times we get hot-headed, it takes a long time for us to get cool off. But you go home, you know, make up some kind of lie, let somebody watch your children, and y'all go and handle your business. But Tia pulled up and said, for what the paper said, she hit the girl, she spit on the girl. So, going by that, Tia was the aggressor. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying the girl deserved to die. But for the person who came in the comment section and said that, you saw how it went down. Again, I had to ask, was pull-up game more important than protecting your own children? That's it there. Tia Carey. That's her name. Thank you. Well, me and Lightbear, at least we agree on one thing. This man, for what we understood, he didn't want nothing to do with you. Now, as I got deeper to the story, he supposed to allegedly lied to her about something. I don't know what it was. And that's another thing that girl brought up. About the man lied to her about something. I don't know what it was. But if y'all weren't together, then whatever you lied about, it shouldn't affect me. Unless you had our children. And you lied about something that happened to them. Quote unquote abuse. Sexual abuse. Verbally abuse. However you want to put it. Now you lied about that trying to protect another bitch. Then I can understand your frustration. But then again, we don't know if the nigga was seeing both of the chicks. And she just so happened to catch him. But again, your pull-up gang. And I want y'all young ladies, listen. Y'all with this pull-up shit is more important than protecting your children. Y'all gotta stop that shit. And then you got a lot of us fools recording y'all because y'all look like asses out there. That's why they record y'all. And that's why they put it on social media, because y'all looking like asses out there. But again, when it comes to social media, it's our bullshit and y'all entertainment. That's it. All these motherfuckers out there recording don't give a shit about what's going on. That nigga who recorded that video with Tia got shot, y'all heard what the motherfucker said? Why did they shot her? Mike, y'all better get on up out of here, Mike. Y'all better get on up out of here. You just witnessed a fucking murder. And that's the first thing you said, they need to get up out of here. If that's the case, then, Negro, why did you post it? If that's the case, you just witnessed a murder, but gonna tell them they better get out of here. But you ain't making no better, motherfucker, because you posted. And like, bro, I want you to understand where I come from when I talk about my people. We got some stupid motherfuckers out here. What they look like me? I just witnessed somebody got shot. I'm still on camera, just heard the shot, hear the kids crying, and I come up to you and say, yeah, y'all better get the fuck up out of here. But then turn this same video in on social media. Not to the cops. I took this same fucking video and put it on social media for clicks and views. I just witnessed a fucking murder. And to see this picture right here where the young lady wasn't doing nothing. Wasn't doing nothing but sleeping, relaxing, probably tired. Because I know with women and nursing and doing all that shit, I know that takes a toll of a lot of y'all. I don't know how many of y'all in the medical field, but I know that takes a toll of a lot of you working all them fucking hours. I know that shit can be stressful as fuck. And that girl probably was tired. And waking up to hearing all this blazing and shit. Shit. So guys, rereading the no knock. We was talking about the no knock. This article I'm going to try to read to you. It speaks on no knock searches plus stand your ground laws, a deadly combo for civilians and police.
And just took her from us. She's gone. She's never coming back. She was a good girl. She just did not deserve what she went through. She
Anyway, I'm gonna just pause there because Well, damn. Okay. It said Kentucky's Stand Your Ground law allows its residents to use deadly force against intruders they believe are breaking into their home. So why is Kenneth Walker charged with attempted murder? You know, we talked about that earlier. Why is he being charged?
Love everybody, and she is the reason why.
Okay. For alleged shooting of Louisville Police Sergeant March 13, who forced his way with 2 other officers into Breonna Taylor's apartment while serving a no-knock warrant. When the officers returned fire, Taylor, an ER technician and former Louisville EMT who was unarmed, was struck at least 8 times and died on her hallway floor. Commonwealth attorney Tom Wine wouldn't discuss Walker's pending prosecution, but Wine told the Courier-Journal in an email that the Stand Your Ground statute is central in any determination of how to proceed. Enacted in 2006, the law says it doesn't apply to force use against police officers, but only if police identify themselves in accordance with any applicable law. Louisville Metro Police have said officers did identify themselves before the early morning raid on Taylor home near Iroquois, Iroquois Park, but witnesses have said otherwise, according to a lawsuit filed April 27 by Taylor's family against the city. Peter Krasker, a criminologist at Eastern Kentucky University who had studied no-knock and SWAT team searches, called the March 13 operation at Taylor's apartment a classic botched raid. And as we go down further, it said Wine, he said, will have to decide whether he wants to antagonize police by dropping the charge or anger everybody else. Metro Council President David James, a Louisville police officer for 20 years, said that the 2 laws stand in deadly conflict with each other, and the city of Louisville should reduce and restrict their use to only the most serious investigation that justifies their use. We have put police and citizens in very, very bad situations, he said. Mayor Greg Fisher said he has asked Chief Steve Conrad to take another look into this practice. Jurors side with defendants in no-knock cases. Y'all remember what we said earlier? What the lady said, you know, stuff like this is tricky. With stuff like this in this era, a lot of stuff like this is on the law side. So that's why a lot of us don't get the outcome that we expecting to get, because a lot of stuff like this is on their side, you know. So jurors elsewhere have sympathized with the defendants. Listen to this. They have sympathized with the defendants who killed police during raids in which they didn't. Oh, they talk about. Okay, excuse me. Not the police. They talk about the defendants such as Kenneth. Okay, my bad. Police doing raids in which they didn't know their homes was being invaded by law enforcement. In 2017, a jury in Corpus Christi, Texas, for example, acquitted a man who spent 664 days in jail after he was charged with attempted capital murder for wounding 3 officers during a no-knock raid that targeted his nephew. And a grand jury in Burleson County, Texas, refused to indict a man for capital murder after he shot and killed a sheriff's deputy inside his home during the execution of a no-knock warrant on December 19, 2013. Krasker and other experts say injuries and deaths like Taylor's are hardly surprising, given that 4 out of 10 American families are armed. She and Taylor thought someone was breaking into their home when Walker fired his weapon, their lawyers have said. The use of non-uniform undercover officers to effect no-knock warrants has become a highly dangerous enterprise for both the policeman and the citizen, who can now fire away without having to try to withdraw. Retired County Judge Stan Billingsley, if I said that right, warned in a 2016 blog post. Before the 1960s, it was almost unheard of for officers to force their way unannounced to a home. But with the proliferation of illegal drugs, the U.S. Supreme Court has held that police may barge into a home if they have reasonable suspicion that knocking and announcing a presence under the particular circumstance will be dangerous or allow suspects to destroy evidence, like Chantel said earlier. If you still in the chat room, you said that earlier. You said they probably doing this so if there was drugs, he didn't have a chance to flush it down the toilet. So we just read it right here. We just for them to destroy evidence. They're not giving them time to destroy evidence. That's what LMPD officers claim in securing a no-knock warrant for a suspected drug house in the Russell neighborhood and Taylor's home, which they believe was being used to receive drug shipments. LMPD spokeswoman Jessie Holliday, citing a pending internal investigation, declined to say who approved the no-knock for Taylor's apartment. No-knock searches results in serious fatal injuries. Across the U.S., the number of no-knock searches has increased from 3,000 in 1981 to 60,000 today, according to Cresta. And the results have included avoidable death, gruesome injuries, and multi-million-dollar legal settlements at taxpayers' expense. For example, in Cornelia, Georgia in 2014, a deputy sheriff secured a no-knock warrant based on false information, then breached the door of a home with a battering ram and threw a stun grenade inside during a pre-dawn raid. It landed, oh Jesus Christ, it landed in a baby's crib, burning away part of her face. Whoa. The stun grenade landed in the baby's crib, burning away part of her face. No drugs, no drug dealer, and no weapons were found. The county paid a $3.6 million settlement for the injuries to Bonkham. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't say that. Who is known as Baby Bobo. Okay, I'll say that. And I'm assuming this damn. Wow. In Atlanta, 2006, after the elderly woman, Catherine Johnston, 92, fired one shot into a ceiling thinking her home was being invaded, police shot and killed her. Their only injuries came from friendly fire. 3 officers were sentenced to prison. In 2013, in Tucson, Arizona, a SWAT team fired 71 shots in 7 seconds after making an unannounced entry, killing Jose Garina, whose family was given a $3.4 million settlement. Kraska said his research shows that the 15 years ending in 2018, 335 no-knock or quick-knock raids by SWAT and narcotics teams have resulted in lethal or serious injuries to police or civilians. Then it goes on to say that no-knock searches often turn up empty. 60% of the time, the searches found no illegal drugs or other contraband, as was in the case of the police raid on Taylor's apartment at 3003 Springfield Drive. Some of the tragedies was compounded by the discovery that raids were conducted at the wrong address or based on false information. False information. How about that? So these no-knock raids, for what I just read, they do them more harm than good. As we see about this story, and as we read right there. All y'all doing is, when you do this, you're going to end up putting out more money. So it's doing y'all more harm than good. So maybe there need to be a bill or something passed about doing these no-knock raids. Or else you're going to have to We're going to be paying out more money, all right? And you're going to be losing more cops, and you're going to be losing more civilians, all right? Oh shit, my boy Nelly back. Where you been, my boy? God damn, I ain't seen you in a long time. What up, Nelly Mac? Damn, I ain't seen you in a while. What the business? What the dealio? Guys, I do have the preliminary statement in front of my face. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm probably going to end the show right here. I'll probably end it right here and probably come back and do a part 2 tomorrow or something. You know, again, a tragedy what happened to this young lady, another young lady, or a young generation period that had things going on, and now she lost her life because of this no knock shit. So again, by me reading that, the no knock ain't doing nothing for these folks. So y'all might need to kick that out. Seriously, y'all need to kick that out. Unless y'all just like paying out all the millions of dollars, then keep on doing it. But again, it's doing y'all more harm than it's doing y'all any good. Amen. A lot of people don't get my notification, bro. I don't know why the fuck it does that. A lot of people don't get my notification. But I'm glad you saw I was live this time, bro. Good to see you after all this time. Good to see you, bro. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna shut it down right there. Again, Darren, thanks for sending me the information. Hopefully, Darren, you can give me an interview with Benjamin Crump. That'd be totally awesome if you could do that. Savannah, I don't know if she's still in the chat room now. I know she sent me some stuff about it last night. And I want to say this too, guys. I want to say this too. I don't do these stories to gain money. I don't do these stories to gain any fame or attention. If you're going to watch it, you're going to watch it. If you're not, you're just not. On the average of videos like these, if y'all a content creator, the average time that people may watch it, I would say, unless you're a big YouTuber, I would say probably about a minute or a little bit over 2 minutes. But now you get up to the point where you got people who watch at least about 4, 3 on up. According to the research I've done about YouTube, if you got people that watch it like 3 minutes on up, then you're making progress. Again, unless you're a big YouTuber, somebody like me, you're not gonna get people that's gonna watch the whole damn video. If they do, they probably watch it like bits and pieces of it. But regardless of what, it still adds up however long they watch it. All right. But again, I want y'all to understand, I don't do this for money. I don't do this for fame or none of this shit. Because if I did, I would have cut that super chat on, which I'm eligible for, but I don't do that. I would keep telling y'all hit my cash app, which I don't do that. I leave it up to y'all if you want to donate or not. And with some of y'all on your own accord, y'all will donate on your own. But I hardly ever ask for donations unless I'm trying to build up the platform. And maybe here and there if I'm sick. Y'all probably throw me a little something in if I'm sick. But in that though, to make money and doing this stuff like that, that's not what I do this for. I do this solely for awareness, and it's a hobby. All right? So, it's not really about the views. It's not really about that. It ain't really about the likes or the dislikes. Even though I like getting likes, and a lot of people like getting likes. I'm looking at 35 on right now. That's pretty damn good. But I'm pretty much sure there's going to be more to show progress, So my main goal here is to put out a message and awareness. It ain't about me making no money. It ain't about me making how many views I can get. All right? So I just want people to understand that as well. See, just like Sonya, she said, how do I support your channel? You want to go, which way you want to go? You want to go to, you want to go PayPal or you trying to go Cash Out? Which one? If you're trying to go Cash App, it's $BIGCDT. If you're trying to go PayPal, I'll have to get that link for you. As a matter of fact, yeah, I'll put the so you looking for the PayPal. Let me see if I get the PayPal for you. Hold on. Shit, come to find I got money up in this PayPal and I forgot I had money up in it. Let me see if I get this link for you if I get on out of here. Hold on. Give me just a minute, I'll find it for you. Sonya, do this. Go to PayPal and type in the Chris Thorne so you make it find me there. I used to know how to find Elite, but I can't find this motherfucker now. See, can you find it like that? Cause they did update it so much too and shit. I can't even find the damn link. I can't even find the damn link. I can't even find the damn link. Damn. Hold on. Let me try my phone. I know it's on my phone. Oh, I found it. Okay, I found it. Damn, I had to go through all that just to find it? Shit. I found it. There you go, I found it. I find it. Chris, I appreciate your channel, Pastor. I appreciate it. Great show. Thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate it. A lot is always done wrong from the black perspective. Library, you tickles me. You don't do it for money, trust. I've been searching to support. Well, it's in the chat room right now, dear. Says I'll be on your replays. Did she say you have a beautiful heart and soul, Chris? Appreciate it. Thank you, Chris. Keep up the good work. It's not in vain. It's called awareness. Amen. Okay. Or you can look it up later. I will have a great night. Cole Pell says, Chantel saying, I agree, Chris is a great guy. Oh, thank you, Cole Pell. Hey, Cole Pell, I remember for the longest, nobody knew who you was until I think you went on Logic thing and everybody found out you was a female. We like, whoa, Cole Pell is a female. Okay. So anyway, they go to the link right there. There you want to support the show. Anything you give, it'll be greatly appreciated. I sure appreciate you. Guys, take care of yourself and each other. And I will get back with you with a part 2. And we're going to read the preliminary hearing papers. You know, we'll do that tomorrow. If I get a chance, we'll come back. We'll read the preliminary hearing papers tomorrow. Well, in that though, as always, much love to all of y'all. And catch y'all next time. Peace.